Well, what a great day for Twins baseball as Joe Mauer is now among baseball's immortals. And joining us now to talk a little more about what he has accomplished here is, I think I could call you his best friend, Justin Morneau, who was his partner in crime for so many seasons with the Twins. And you have to be elated to see Joe get honored like this.
Yeah, I think it was a question heading into it. What did the voters see? What do they? You never really know how they're going to react. And I think they reacted in the right way because he is a Hall of Famer. He's a guy that when he was on the field, he was the best athlete, he was the best player, and he was the best catcher in the game for a long time. So I think he did things that no one else did in the history of the game. The 3 batting titles. I mean, he led the All-Star game in voting for a kid from the Midwest. It's incredible what he did as a player, and I think the voters recognize that.
The 1-2 pitch. Up the middle, his first hit.
What was your impressions of his baseball talents? I mean, were you awestruck back then, or is this a process that he went through to become a Hall of Famer? What did you notice in Joe that made him stand out more than anybody else?
Well, I think, in the minor leagues, there's so much that's put on a first rounder. Anytime there's a first rounder on the field, whether it's on your team or the other team, everybody knows. So there's always eyes on that person. And then you sit there and if you weren't a first round pick, you look and you go, well, how is that guy that much better than everyone else? And you could see it immediately with Joe. You could see it with the athleticism. I remember in his first big league camp, we're sitting there and I was at first base and he was catching and he picks up a ball and he throws it to first. And I'm kind of thinking as he's throwing the ball, why isn't he really trying? It doesn't really look like he's putting a whole lot of effort in. And all of a sudden the ball caught me. I mean, it took me back and it almost hit me square in the chest. And I think that's kind of how it was for him. He just made it look so easy because he was just so athletic. He was so talented. And you could tell when he was on the field that he was always the best athlete, no matter what age, no matter who he was out there with. Even as an 18-year-old kid, you could tell that there was something special there, and it translated into him having a Hall of Fame career.
Some say, oh, it's great playing in your hometown. It put more pressure on him, more of a spotlight on him every single day. He had to be Joe Mauer, and he had to be the guy for everyone. How difficult was that for him to perform and deal with that intense spotlight day after day?
Well, I think it started when he was in high school. He always knew when he was in the spotlight. You can always tell when there's eyes on you. And I think the eyes were always on him, no matter where he went. I mean, it was hard for him to hide as well with those sideburns he had, especially when he was a young kid. There was no hiding as Joe Mauer as a kid in Minnesota. So, he was a guy that I was always aware, but then at the same time, he treated everyone with respect. There was not an interaction that I saw where somebody came up and said, Joe, hey, I know your cousin from so-and-so, and then they would go into this story. And every single time he would give them the attention that it deserved, and every single time it felt like that person walked away satisfied with that interaction. And it can be so difficult when you're always on, and you're always expected to be, the friendly hometown kid, and you're not really ever allowed to have a bad day because one bad interaction ends up spreading like wildfire, and I never saw that happen. Anytime I was with him, I actually loved going places with him because I could go and be left alone, and everybody would go over to Joe, and I could go over and have a beer over at the bar or whatever I needed to do. So, it was great, but at the same time, I don't know how he handled it, but he handled it so well, and I think, obviously the upbringing, his parents, his grandparents, having family around, having friends to keep him grounded, to remind him that he's just a kid from St. Paul, and they never let him, get too big for who he was, and he never let himself get too big and never forgot where he came from.
Well, how did he handle that pressure? Because you guys were roommates, I think, in '06. You guys shared a condo. And so, there obviously was a lot of conversations and spring trainings and bus rides and plane rides. How did he handle that pressure? Were there times when he was like, God, I almost wish I played in New York as opposed to the Twin Cities?
Not once did I ever hear him complain about the attention or, the fact that he was playing in his hometown. At the end of his career, there was a talk, when the team was struggling, he was, getting towards the end, hadn't won that World Series. There was opportunities maybe for him to go to somewhere like Boston or somewhere where there was a chance for a team. And, I think I mentioned to him once, and he shot that down immediately. There was no thought of him ever wanting to play anywhere else. he knew how special it was to get to play for his hometown team, the team that he grew up cheering for, the guys he grew up idolizing, and Kirby Puckett and Herbie and all these guys that, you know, he saw what it meant to play for the Minnesota Twins, and he never took that for granted. And I think he just handled it so well because he understood it was a privilege to be able to play for your hometown team in front of your family and friends.
Runner goes. Bauer's throw right there.
Do you think Minnesota really understands? Do you think fans really understand what a special player he was?
I think those of a certain age that got to see those teams, I mean, it was a combination of so many things, right? We had Gold Glove center fielder. We had Gold Glove fielders around the field. We had a Cy Young winner on the mound. We had one of the best closers in the history of the game. We had teams that were going to the playoffs consistently or battling to go to the playoffs. And then you had Joe behind the plate. And I think if he was the only guy on a bad team year after year, I think he would have stood out a lot more than he did. And I think, you know, people that got to see him catch and they got to see him when he was the best player and one of the best players in the history of the game, what he was able to do behind the plate. I think there's certain age of people now that didn't get a chance to see him. You know, towards the end of his career, he moved to first base. The injuries forced him off of catching, but there was a time when, you know, you looked out on the field and there was a lot of good players, there was all-stars, and there was a lot of talent on our teams, and he was still the best player out there. And I think, you know, players recognize that when you're standing on the field, you kind of all know who the alpha male is, right? You look out there and you go, we're all pretty good, but that guy's just a little bit better than the rest of us. And I think that's kind of the respect that he had from his teammates. And I think there's a lot of fans that do understand it, what he meant to this team and to this organization and to this area of baseball fans. And I think he's getting his due, you know, recognition, and we're all so proud and so happy for him.